Hey world, it's your girl Nina Love. Thanks for being here. This is my regular Wednesday video podcast. Every Wednesday I sit down and discuss different topics about anything. Lately it's been about love and relationships, but I usually talk about anything. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Love Nina Love. Make sure to give me a thumbs up on Facebook, like my page. So this week, I wanted to reveal a fact about me, which is that I have a bachelor's degree in philosophy. I always thought I would major in English because of my love of reading and writing, but I ended up doing philosophy, which actually totally, completely fits my personality. Philosophy addresses questions like, why are we here? How do we live the happiest life? So any ism you can think of is addressing the idea of living your happiest life. So don't think too far into it. Just think every ism or every belief system here on the planet is here to address the one single question: how to live the happiest life. And so I'm glad that I majored in philosophy. It completely matches my personality and my hunger and search for knowledge. So I just caught up on watching the entire series of Greenleaf. So I'm up to date. So the next time Greenleaf, which is on the Oprah Winfrey Network, the next time it comes on, I'll be, like I'm up to date. And there was, I think in the last couple of episodes, it shows this young girl in a crisis of faith. Like she got baptized in her grandfather's church, and she was into all the Bible stories and teaching the children's ministry. And she was just, loving God and in the way that the Bible explains it. And then something terrible happened to her that affects her whole entire life. And she's angry at God. And I thought, man, I never want to be that way. I never want to be bitter and angry. So it prompted this video. And I just wanted to cover and talk about little things in my life that have made me reaffirm my faith or reaffirm my own belief system and be confident in the way that I look for spirituality or practice spirituality. When I was young, when I was like a teenager, I would write in my journal every night. And my dad always made it a point to have a conversation with me, sometimes till the wee hours of the morning. It could have been a school night. It didn't matter. We would sit in the living room. I would be laying on the living room floor, writing in my journal. And then he would come out and he would sit on the chair and we would have these long discussions. And I'm telling you, I think those discussions is what prompted me to look into philosophy and doing that as my bachelor's degree. And even now, when me and my father are together, and since I got divorced, my dad and I have spent even more time together. So we would go on these long drives around the island, and we would just talk and talk and talk. And I'm telling you, sometimes I know he wanted to just like punch me for the things that I was saying. Not really punch me, but just so frustrated with my point of view. And maybe that will come out eventually, but it's such a long point of view when he and I would discuss the Bible. I have a very different point of view than he does. And sometimes he would just look at me like he just has nothing more to say to me because my mind is like questioning every little, not questioning in that it didn't happen, but questioning why it would happen and just all kinds of questions. And he would always sometimes once we were arguing from Haleiwa, passing through Kahuku, not really arguing, debating. From Haleiwa all the way until we got to Hau'ula, where I'm from, where my dad lives. And we got to in the driveway, and then I turned off the car and I was done. I said, okay, we good? And then he's like, I have to think about everything you just said. Don't talk to me. And then he got out of the car. But of all of our experiences together, my father and I were very close. I feel like he's a very, very powerful man spiritually. His energy is so powerful. And so I respect him immensely. I really value what he has to say because he's always valued what I had to say ever since I was young. And he's always made it a point to know me as a person, not just his daughter. And so he used to tell a story when I was younger where he said that God was at the top of the mountain and that we all have different ways to get to God. There's all kinds of different paths up that mountain to get to God. And that has always stuck with me because I've never felt like I fit in terms of my spiritual beliefs and thoughts in the religion I was raised in. I mean, I could do it. It's easy to assimilate and it's easy to be that, especially if you're raised LDS. It's easy to maneuver within it once you know how to maneuver in it. But I've never felt at home because my mind was always questioning and wondering and so I always pushed the boundaries with my parents and with my thought process. And now it seems like every so often, every couple of years, I go through this spiritual renewal where I sit down like I am today or like I am now, and I try to figure out and hammer out exactly who I am and how I fit into the world and how I fit with God or the belief in God or how I want my life to be like. Is it in sync with what I think God should be? And since my divorce, and even before my divorce, I think both my husband and I were in, my ex-husband and I were in, like a crisis of faith where whatever we were doing before wasn't working for us. And we both were feeling it and we wanted to evolve out of it. But what ended up happening is a splitting. But that doesn't mean I'm still not hungry to be spiritual or hungry to know God. And I think that will always be something that I carry with me through this life. And one of the discussion topics my father and I had or have on several occasions actually is the idea of reincarnation. Now, I live in possibility where anything is possible. And almost every single major religion or every single religion or spiritual practice is based on the idea of miracles. Right? So if we look at the Bible or the Quran or the Talmud, they all have these miracles that have happened in like, what? Moses split the Red Sea and the children of Israel walked across the Red Sea on dry land? What? How is that possible? Or Jesus died and rose again? So all of these are miracles. These are huge miracles that we probably have not witnessed in our own lives or in our lifetime. And yet we are called to believe in these miracles. And I have no problem believing in those miracles because I like to live in possibility. Was I there when those miracles happened? No. But I like to think that, that's a possibility. I'm not going to reject it because I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see it, so it didn't happen because it's impossible. If that was our belief system, we could never know if we live on planet Earth. We could never know if the Earth is round or flat because we've never witnessed it with our own eyes. So I like to live in possibility. So the idea of reincarnation always comes up when me and my father have talked. And when I was little, I remember Shirley MacLaine coming on TV and I was a little girl and she was talking about past lives and past life regression and things like that. And it gave me a funny feeling, not a bad feeling. When I was little, I just thought, wow, how mysterious is that we had a past life? You know, like I wonder if there's more to it. I always thought that when I was little. And I think it was the late 80s it was the late 80s when she would come on TV talking about her past life regressions. And so the idea of reincarnation has always been something I'm fascinated with. And several in the Mormon faith or LDS religion, what did this past general conference for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they said not not to use the word Mormon anymore, or they want to move away from that. Anyway, so members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have a plan of salvation where people existed before this earth, come to earth to be tested, and then they die and find their way towards eternal life. So I kind of think that we existed before this current physical existence, and that we are energy. We are vibrational energy, and energy cannot die as it is not born. It is always, always, always present, right? So if energy never ceases to exist, meaning it never dies, then we continue to transform. And I believe the Hindu religion, reincarnation, or even I think Buddhist, I'm not sure. I didn't really look this up, but I'm just going from memory. I think you earn your next incarnation by your works in this one, which I tend to agree with, except that I think that our incarnations, so I do believe in reincarnation, and I think that we do come back and we want to learn different lessons, right? So I always think that if life is a school, like the Church of Jesus, the Mormon faith believes that life is where we're tested and we learn all these different things. If life is a school, then why wouldn't I come back if I want to learn more? Just saying, if we're endless energy, like our energies just transform from this life to the next, then why wouldn't we be able to come back and learn different things? And I actually think that all of these beings that are ascended beings, or that have reached this level of spiritual mastery, for instance, Jesus Christ and the Buddha, have reached this state of nirvana after several incarnations, and that all of us can reach that state of nirvana by coming back and learning and learning. And in the end, the biggest lesson will be that it's about love, learning to love each other, humanity, every living thing, compassion and service. I think that's the biggest lesson. I think that is what the secret to life is, and learning to be your best person, and achieving a state of nirvana and achieving this spiritual glow is by practicing love, compassion, and service and kindness. Oh, that's a lot. I know it's a lot, but let me see what else I wrote. So I've always been, and I always feel like I'm on this quest for spiritual enlightenment. And that was one of the biggest topics that I wrote about. I used to write a lot about was reincarnation, because I just want to always learn and want to always be able to come and experience life the way that I do, with its ups and downs, with love and the pain and the joy and happiness and sadness and all of these different variety of emotions and life experiences that we can have, and then be able to evolve out of that, out of the pain and into joy and happiness. I would love to experience that over and over and over again, into a state of complete and utter joy and happiness eventually, right? Once we learn how to overcome all the hurt and pain. That's what I think. I'm always hungry for that, those experiences, hungry for spiritual enlightenment, and that this life is a quest. It's a journey. It's a journey of discovery, of learning how to be the best humans that we can be. Anyway, I wrote a little something also from the past. I kind of tweaked it. You can read it on the blog down below. I live in that idea of possibility, of pure imagination, that anything can happen. If anything can happen, if all of those things in the Bible and the Quran and the Talmud happened, I'll live in that space of creativity and possibility that something miraculous could happen. And I always want to be in that space. And so let me know what you think. I think the way we treat each other and our day-to-day lives, people we meet on the street, people we interact with on the daily, our family members, all of these things and all of these people and experiences that we have are meant to drive us to be more loving, more forgiving, and more kind. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm still trying, but in my mind, that is the biggest goal. That is the whole purpose of this life journey, is to learn to love unconditionally everybody in our lives, even the ones that are hard to love. And I know I'm hard to love too sometimes. But anyway, let me know what you think. I know this topic is kind of like way out there, but it was heavy on my mind, especially with watching Greenleaf and seeing this girl in spiritual crisis, and then thinking of all of the experiences in my own life. I thought this would be a off the wall kind of topic to discuss. Anyway, let me know what you think. It's your girl, Nina Love. Find me at ninalove.com. Subscribe in the right hand. I think I'm going to revamp my blog because it surely needs an update. That format that it's in is 14 years old. It's time for an update. So it's a lot of work, but I'm going to revamp it. Anyway, see you next week, everybody. Have a great week.